It's tea time, baby. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. It has been announced today, as you probably already know, that Joe Biden is completely out of the race. That's right. Not new news now, old news. Biden is out of the race, just as we said was going to happen, that he wasn't going to make it. But I said a lot of other things about the race, including having visions of Kamala Harris taking the oath. Does that mean that she's going to be taking the oath for president? I very highly doubt that, for sure. I'd be willing to bet my bank account that they push her right out. Not only that, now, of course, Joe Biden is pushing and endorsing Kamala Harris. Do you really think that this will last? Could you see her in the White House running the White House? I mean, anything's possible at this point. Spirit did tell us there were going to be shocking events that were going to occur. I am live. It is Sunday right here in Sedona, Arizona, July 21st. Not long after hearing the news that Biden is stepping out. Does this actually fulfill my past visions? And what is next? What is going to happen next when it comes to the elections? Crazy stuff, friends. And I'm here to give you a short update. And we're going to look at some of the information I received from Spirit, along with some of the past predictions revolved around this, along with a few cards that I happened to pull earlier today as well, as we look into the 2024 elections and the fate of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and everybody else that's in the race too. You know what? That just popped in my brain. I totally forgot that Mark Rubio popped in my head today. Of all the people, just randomly popped in my head. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm going to put this in my notes for Tuesday's show. See if I get more information on that. Wouldn't it be a surprise if they threw him into the race? And I don't even know if he's what side of the team he's on. You know, it's all about that division, friends. What side is the team is he on? Maybe someone in the chat room will tell us what team he's on. What color flag does he fly? I don't. There's something about he's a smart man, but there's something about him. He's definitely part of that state that lies ever so deeply, if you know what I mean. He's a Republican. Okay, so it won't be him. I don't know why he popped in my mind. I'll try to get more information from Spirit before we get to Tuesday's show. But what I want to talk about, of course, today, more than anything, is the fact that Joe Biden stepped down. Now, if we go back to past predictions and visions, remember, I said that I saw, and I said this 3 years ago, that I saw Kamala Harris take an oath for office. And in accordance to Spirit, the message was that it would be for a very short period of time. Now, in my recent channeled predictions, if you recall, I saw in my meditation Kamala Harris sitting in the corner of the room looking really sad and disappointed. And it wasn't because something happened to Joe. It was because something happened to her. And they kind of, used the screwdriver on her just to get her out some way or another. We still got the DNC coming up, friends. And wait until you see what I discovered today that I didn't even realize until I looked at the dates and the numbers and everything today. And it's shocking. And not so shocking. The dates that they picked for this, for the DNC. They couldn't have picked a worse date. They couldn't have picked a worse time window to do so. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. So now that Kamala is stepping in, she's still not taking oath. Excuse me. She's just taking over his spot as a candidate. So what about her taking oath? I, again, don't see this happening. Spirit said 3 to 4 years ago that it would be temporary, short period of time. That would make more sense now. That is extremely plausible, including my visions of seeing an ambulance and someone being brought out on the stretcher from the White House, which again could be symbolic. It doesn't have to be that we're actually going to see someone being taken out in the stretcher. I do believe that will be the case, but still it's symbolic that there's going to be something happening in the White House. We also got to go back to my prediction from last year. Great shaking would come to the White House. This isn't a great shaking. It's not really a big deal. Everybody expected it. And, a lot of you, I know you like to follow a lot of other people out there, and kudos. It's what YouTube's all about, following and selective and being selective. But according to your comments, because I only read your comments, I don't follow other folks that do predictions and such. But many were calling that Biden was going to win the election. Boy, he's not even in it now, which is quite ironic to say the least. He's not even in it now. So I don't think I'd be listening to those folks anymore, that's for sure. Now they'll probably change, of course, and say Kamala's going to win, but I don't see her in the race. But we're going to look at some numbers first. And now they're all saying how great of a president he is because he stepped down. And it's the ones that wanted him to step down, of course, that are saying how great of a president he was. I don't know. Everybody has their own opinion. But what I do know is that in the past few years, food here in the United States is up 57%. In other countries as well. Gas is up like 50, 60%. The cost of living is up. And people in the United States and other countries, too, are struggling more than ever. So, say what you want, but Spirit says a great shaking is still coming to the White House. I don't know what that is, other than maybe the stretcher and him being taken out, but I wouldn't find that to be a great shaking either. It's got to be something else coming. And I took it as, again, metaphorical, not that there's going to be, a big earthquake that occurs. I don't feel like that's Washington, D.C. That's going to happen in the West Coast of the United States, the Pacific. And I even had visions about the Indian Ocean that align with past predictions. I'll talk about that on Tuesday's show. So the DNC, remember Spirit told us that there was going to be fear-related attacks that happen in places like Chicago? And Spirit told us that before even knowing that they're going to be holding the DNC in Chicago, where they have the highest crime rate when it comes to pow-pows especially. Now, what really struck me today when I looked up the dates, because I wanted to know when the DNC is, because there's going to be a great shaking there, too. And I guarantee you that's where my vision of Kamala sitting in the corner looking all sad and disappointed. Now, I feel like they may actually say, well, we'll keep you as the vice president candidate. We'll keep you in the race, but we're going to put someone else in front of you. And many people believe it's Newsom. Some people believe it's Michelle Obama. And there's even some people that believe it's going to be Hillary Clinton. Spirit said a great shocks will come to the month of October, not even just August in the DNC. So I feel that even whatever they decided, the DNC, that's still going to change by October. I feel like, again, sudden shocks and changes. And somebody stepping in the race that likely might not be any of these people that we just mentioned at all. Now, let's take another look at something. So this DNC starts on August 19th, friends. You know what August 19th is? Well, if you follow me long enough, you probably have a good clue. But August 19th is the energy shift. We get these energy shifts. We get lots of energy shifts, but major tsunami waves of energy always happen when we are in the direct Mercury retrograde and the full moon. That happens to be on the 19th of August. And not even just the energy shift, the fact that they decided to do the DNC and started on the full moon. That's kind of bizarre, friends. Maybe that's why they're doing their, conjuring up their little demons for the full moon to ensure their success. I don't know. But this is what I found even more striking about it. The DNC ends on the 22nd, which is a 22-day master number 22. 11, 22, 33 master numbers in numerology. Big events happen, especially on 11 days. So the 11th of the month, 29, because 9 plus 2 is an 11. And when it comes to the 11 and 22, you don't break it down. Because in numerology, you always break it down to a single digit. So 11 would be a 2 and 22 would be a 4. But you still always look at the master number first, always. So we see big events that happen on those dates. The 11th, we've seen a lot of mass pow events. Who's at my door? Who was that at my door? Sorry, hold on one second. Somebody's at my door. Somebody was at my door. I don't know where they went. Bizarre. Well, I don't know who's at my door. Hello? Oh, I guess it's a delivery. Never mind. I never saw that person at my door. Sorry about that. Sorry for the interruption. I'm surprised it even actually went off on my phone. It's on Do Not Disturb. So it ends on the 22nd, friends. The 22 day. Now remember, and I believe it was channeled predictions where I saw not so good things happening around the DNC, including large explosions. So I have this strong feeling that, of course, planned events, you can thank the Soros Foundation and their little group of demons for their plans and what they plan. And I feel like they're going to plan something and, of course, blame it on someone else completely. Now, they could try to blame it on, say, Iran or somebody like that, or they could blame it on the opposing side, blame it on Trumpers or whatever. So we have to be very, very cautious of what happens during that window of time, friends. The 19th of August through the 22nd during that DNC. And I will get a whole lot more information about that. A whole lot more before my August predictions, of course. Got to keep up to date. You got to keep in tune. You got to watch every Tuesday or you get a little bit of information. Remember, Spirit gives us things in puzzle pieces, and we got to put those puzzle pieces together from time to time. So looking at the numbers, just to look at the numerology of all these different people, starting with Kamala, who she is a Libra, and Libras are in service to others. So it would make sense the career that she had as a prosecutor and where she's at now. Libras aren't happy unless they're serving other people or doing something in service to others. So that's typical. In the 20th, so that puts Kamala in her 2 personal year in numerology, which is getting a foothold and getting a foothold, whereas last year was trying to figure things out and she was already in the White House. Next year is all about the 3 and her trying to find her happiness and seeking to be happy. And I don't think you're going to find such happiness in a position of power. I mean, maybe she will, but I don't. We'll look at the other numbers first. So Biden, of course, is in his 3 vibration. And this is why I told you over a year ago, that it would be October this year that we would likely see major health issues with Joe Biden, and very likely that Joe Biden may even pass away in the month of October 2024. If not, definitely in early 2025 in that 4 vibration. The 4 often is notorious for health. Look at 2020 and everything that happened in the world. The planet Earth was in a 4 vibration in 2020. So, of course, we had an outbreak. Of course, we had to be mindful of it. It's all about being mindful about the health when you're in that 4 vibration. Queen Elizabeth passed in her 4 year, and many others passed in their 4 year. So, but he'll be in that 4 vibration in the month of October. So that's why I say it would make sense that that's likely when we'll see the ambulance or the stretcher. But it could be as soon as August. It's intense. The energies in August, I can't stress to you how intense these energies are that we only just stepped into. We're only like steps away from the doo-doo pile. We're still a few steps away from it. August, especially when we get to August 4th and 5th, it's going to get intense. Now, Trump, born on Flag Day, interesting, isn't that? His birthday's on Flag Day. That should be symbolic in itself. So he happens to be in his 1 year, 1 personal year, which is about new beginnings, new starts, trying to build a blueprint of what you want for the future, what you want to build for the future. That's the one, getting the blueprints written. And he's got his blueprints written. The 2 that he goes into next year is all about getting that foundation down and starting to build on your blueprint. So it looks more positive in the way of numbers when it comes to him. But then we have people saying that Newsom, it's going to be Newsom. And that was my strong feeling as well. Newsom's also a Libra, which I find hard to believe because that man's just got some darkness about him. I don't know how people don't see it. Well, people don't see a lot of things, a lot of darkness. 10/10 is his birthday. Puts him also in the same year as Trump, both in a 1 year. So if they were running side by side with the numbers, it would be very hard to determine a winner because they are like neck and neck, and they would be neck and neck if that ended up being the case. I still feel like a surprise candidate's coming in. Spirit told us that last year in October channeled predictions or early November channeled predictions. Now we have Hillary Clinton, who is a Scorpio, and not the good kind of Scorpios either. There's either a good Scorpio or there's not. She's definitely not. And so Hillary is Scorpio born on October 26th, putting her in her 8th year of economy and finances and infinite possibilities. So yeah, there's infinite possibilities for her that she could decide to step in. Let me tell you, if they asked her, she would jump on it in a heartbeat because she wants that more than anything in this world. She wants that more than even her own kids or grandkids. She wants that. She's always wanted that. But her health's failing. And I believe she might also have Parkinson's. Also. Who's also? Oh, Biden, Parkinson's. So Hillary's going into her 9-year next year. We're going to see a reflection on what's going on with Hillary in October. Because again, October, her 9. I would imagine that Hillary Clinton may also. And folks, the conspiracies, please save your comments that she's already gone and she was taken out. That is just conspiracy baloney. She's very much alive. Very much alive. But not for long. I don't feel like for long. I feel like Hillary Clinton could be on her way out by next year. With health issues and what Spirit feels like things are accelerating and with everything and with everybody. Remember, we were told this earlier this month that there is an acceleration in time and space. There has been since 2012, but now things are really speeding up. And this is more with the events and the timelines of events. So therefore, things are moving up much quicker. Things are happening much quicker. Look, we've gone live 3 times this week because of major events happening in the world that align with predictions. So it's all happening, friends. One event after another. So then we have Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama's Capricorn. I like Capricorns. She is January 17th, and she is in her 8 vibration, just like Hillary, which means she steps into endings, death of cycles next year. And so therefore, if she were to step in, I wouldn't doubt at all that she would win, but I don't see her stepping in at all. She was even in interviews saying she has no desire. It's not in her to do it. So her saying that, if it were to happen, we know Barack pushed her in. I still feel like it's a big surprise. And she's going into her 9, Michelle, next year. So, things are going to be complicated for her next year, especially for some reason when it comes to her marriage, according to Spirit. I didn't see what year Barack's in. I should have looked, but not important. He's not going anywhere in this race anyway. He can't. Then we have J.D. Vance. Excuse me. And J.D. Vance, I saw this meme where it was the cartoon character climbing up on the sign to change the, big sign on the road. And the sign said ANCE. And he was taking down the PE and putting up a VA. Or it was NCE. I'm sorry, it was NCE. And he was taking down the PE and putting up the VA. And it's kind of interesting how those names are so close to each other. So close to each other. Now, J.D. Vance happens to be, his birthday's August 2nd. So he is in his 9-year. He is in a year of complete endings. And that would make sense that, all of a sudden jumping on a new train, especially when we're getting towards the latter part of his 9-year, jumping on a new train, VP, would make sense that he would have to leave behind everything that he was doing, which he is doing this year. He's leaving behind things to take this position. Doesn't mean he's going to get the position, but next year is his 1 year of new beginnings. It makes so much more sense. Now, Spirit shows me, and as I talked about in yesterday's video, and if you missed yesterday's video, we went into detail about DT and the attempts on him. So go back to that so I don't have to repeat it all. Go back and watch yesterday's video. So Pence and Vance, interesting. So what's coming? Not only just in the elections here, I told you before, I felt this strongly before, that without a doubt that there's a plan. And it could be a universal plan. It could be a globalist plan. I don't know. But there is a plan to delay the election. Something's happening that is going to shift everything. That's why I feel like surprise candidates. October. You think July was surprising? Wait until October and even next month. Next month, again, a lot of heavy energy, a lot of angry energy. And that's the problem right there. A lot of angry energy. The retrograde and the energy shift when we get to, again, the 19th when the DNC starts, that energy shift in that first week is when we usually see tons of truth coming out. We see it the whole month of August, even more so, like huge amounts of truth. And it's also the 7 vibration in August for the whole planet. You take the year we're in, which is an 8 vibration, and you add it to the month. Break it down, and we're in a 7 vibration in the month of August. That's all about a shift in what you believe in, a shift in what you think, shifts in beliefs. That's why last year we saw all that UFO and alien stuff being put out on purpose, because they wanted to shift people's beliefs. They want to make you think something different. They know exactly what they're doing, and they know how to use numbers and astrology and all that to their advantage. Very well. They probably have their own team of psychics and their own team of remote viewers. Both sides, the good side and the bad side. So we have to just keep an eye on, keep yourself into check when it comes to your emotions. Oh, and this is another thing, because this came up for somebody in a reading today. Oh, and I forgot, I got to tell you the cards I picked too today for Donald Trump and for Kamala. I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. I see this consistency happening in people's readings, clients' readings, the life readings, where I talk about what's their future and what's happening. And I see this consistency with the month of October constantly, with seeing health issues and people getting sick in October. And not necessarily my clients themselves personally, but it's in their readings as mostly around them. I'm seeing sickness or illness around you, like somebody having a health issue or something major with that. Now, usually when we're in the retrograde, as we come out of it, because it's so emotional, that's when hospitals and emergency rooms and doctors get super busy. So that'll be the last week of August to the first week of September, super busy with people and their health. But October, I don't look at the astrology October, so I have no idea if there's something astrologically connected. But the consistency that I see in clients' readings is things with health in the month of October. And that likely could be when we see Biden or somebody going off in a stretcher. Could even be Donald Trump going off in a stretcher. It could even be Kamala. Don't be surprised as to what could be coming in front of us in the month of August. But October is just, this consistency in readings is making me think that this could relate to what Spirit said of an outbreak. Remember, Spirit said there would be one not to worry about it, but then one next year that we would need to worry about, be concerned about, not go into fear about, and know that this is all part of the big process of what's happening, and things are accelerating. So events are going to be like boom, boom, boom. And a lot of people are going to be glued to their news channels for the next 3 months. It's going to get that intense. So interesting today that I pulled some cards for DT, and the very first card that I pulled was the Fool. Now, don't be like, oh, well, because he's a fool. The Fool is actually all about new adventures, new beginnings, and new starts. The Fool is a reminder to stop, staggering around and stop being in this place of thoughtlessness and carelessness. You're going to keep tripping and falling. But the key word is it's a whole new adventure, the start of a whole new adventure. He's definitely on an adventure right now, no doubt about that. But interesting enough, and I pulled cards for Trump in the past, and every time the second card that always comes up is the Justice card. And I always interpret those cards both ways when I do my layouts. The second card I always do interpret both ways. So I'm always starting with the reverse side, showing where things have been. And Justice on reversed, you can pretty much analyze and figure out for yourself. It means a lot of unfairness, a lot of abuse, false accusations, and even a false friend. Justice is the number 8. So that's a big representative of the month of August, for sure. And the whole next 8 months, but especially August. So I would say that he's going to find out about some bad business partners, untrue friends, big time in August. And that's, again, retrograde does that. We see people's true colors. We see things in truth come out. People's true emotions come out. It's intense. At the same time, looking at it upright is all, of course, about justice, all about bringing things into balance and bringing things into proper balance over the next 8 months, but of course, especially in the month of August. I also saw a young male energy, well, not real young, maybe in their 50s, younger than him, a lot younger than him. That's somebody that's very creative, responsible, very professional, very religious or spiritually grounded. And I feel like that person's helping them out somehow in the race. And it's not Vance. I can tell you that right now. That guy gives me bad vibes. I believe he's going to be a traitor. I said that in my channel prediction. Spirit said it, not me. And then it also showed for him things picking up very, very quickly in August. Again, August, intense month. Too quickly that if he moves too fast, it's going to catch up to him. So he can end up, Donald Trump, having a mild heart attack in the month of August if he don't slow down. So actually think of that. I didn't even think about that till now. August for DT is a 9 month because he's in his 1 year. So that's all about endings, letting go of, getting rid of. So that'll be interesting with a Mercury retrograde. I bet you he's going to have an intense month. Also, it showed me in the cards that he needs to watch. Of course, I mean, this is obvious, but it was still there, and I got to say it. He needs to watch people offering him assistance that have ulterior motives. It's not so much him. It's the people he's surrounded himself with that are really, really bad. And then also he got two things that showed the period of October. Two things. One had to do with, I felt like there could be some type of an accident or injury around one of his family members, because I feel like there's like an emergency and got to go check. It could even be one of his grandbabies. I see, and I don't know if this is from an accident, like somebody falling, or an accident related to an automobile or a vehicle accident, but I see some kind of tragedy happening around his family, Trump's family, around the month of October. And again, that could even happen sooner. That period. Another thing that it showed is October's really, really heavy energy for him and health. So I told you, it comes up in everybody's reading, just about. Not everybody, but almost everybody. And he also, what was the other one? The High Priestess, which is all about wisdom, knowledge, education, changing things within the education system. It represents a period of 2 years. So not only mentioning that this is also very educating for him, but it's also, she's always a warning telling you not to watch your hidden emotions and watch the things that are tying you down. Now, interesting that I only pulled a few for Kamala Harris. And the first one showed in the month of October, her also dealing with some kind of pain, some kind of sorrows, whether that's, again, something's happening to her personally within her family that she ends up having to step out. Kamala, like something happens to, I don't know if she has kids, but say something happens to one of her kids or her husband or her parents or whoever, that she ends up, because I feel like a lot of pain and sorrow that could be from a loss, like somebody passing away. Maybe, again, it could be even Joe. Could be Joe. Could be him passing away. I don't think she'd be in that much of disappointment and sorrow, though, quite honestly. She's just there for the ride. I don't think she really is, like, got a love connection to the guy, sadly. I don't think many people do at all. It's all about the love, friends. So I just saw a lot of disappointment and sorrow around her, again, especially in October. But this relates to Spirit showing me her in the corner looking sad and really disappointed. So it relates to that completely. So something comes up really good for her in November, though. I don't know what. Something does come up good for her in November. High energy month for her. Now, again, I don't believe there's going to be elections when we get to November. Something's going to happen. Something huge. And I feel like it's a combination of a couple different things in my past predictions. One of them is a major cyber attack that puts all the lights out for 3 to 7 days. Some places even longer, because especially rural places where it's harder for them to get things back online. You know that outage that we just had 2 days ago, the largest outage ever, that they're telling you was just a Microsoft update glitch. You know they're lying to you, right? They're 100% lying to you. That was a cyber attack, friends. That was a test. Spirit told us that they were going to test the waters. I said it on Tuesday. They were going to test the waters soon to see, practice before they do a major attack. And then, 3 days after I said it, we have this major outage. So this is part of what I think could delay the elections, but I feel like something more catastrophic. And I feel like it's more Earth related, as I've been saying. I feel like the Earth is about to burp. That's the way Spirit or fart, one or the other, big time. And I feel like, again, this whole thing happening in the Pacific Ocean with this massive, massive earthquake that hits between all the way down the field. It's something I feel like everybody can feel. I feel like it's something that's felt around the world, which is really crazy. It's like the whole Earth is just shakes. And I don't know if that's the West Coast one that happens between Mexico, United States, all the way up towards Alaska, and bringing tsunami waves that hit places like Hawaii and Japan, the Philippines, and all those areas. But I also feel something happening in the Indian Ocean. And I said this in the past. I got to go look back at my past predictions. So I don't know which one it is, but one of these makes me feel like people are feeling it in places like, thousands of miles away, where people all step outside like, what the heck was that, kind of thing. I'm pretty sure that could come in August. but I'm thinking October. Now, I say August is most likely because of the energy shifts and the retrogrades and all the planetary stuff and the intense energies that are coming in August, and that 7 vibration, shifting our beliefs, causing us to look at things differently. A major event like a major earthquake that was responsible for tens of thousands of people exiting, that would definitely align with the 7 vibration of shifting the way people look at things and the way people believe. It would be a wake-up call. I would hope that near-death experience would make you a much more humbled person, for sure. So I'm going to leave you. I think that is it. Was there anything else I wanted to tell you? Yeah, also the lines at banks that I saw. I saw visions in the past of lines at banks, and we just saw this happening in China over the past week. Some banks in China, people were lined up. They couldn't get their money. So my advice to you, especially with a large cyber attack coming, to make sure that you have cash on hand. Cash on hand, whether, and even like people that have silver and gold, but that's not going to, you don't want to trade a gold bar or a whole silver bar for something. It could be worth more. I wish I had it here to show you. I got 1 bar of silver that breaks off into little pieces. It's kind of neat. I like that. That's a good option. And I don't feel like we need all that right now. Right now, it's just to have some extra cash on hand just in case, 3 to 7 days without no power. That means you're not going to be able to get cash. You're not going to be able to go to the grocery store and buy stuff because everything's digitalized now, right? You're not going to be able to fill up your gas tank, so make sure you have gas. And just know, as I told you in the past, when things go down, stay bunkered down, be fine, and know that, as Spirit said, this too will pass. This too will pass. Now, if you're new here, and my name is Joseph Tittel, in case you didn't gather that by now, aka Spiritman JT. If you want accurate predictions, prophecy, and truth, and you want to vibe with our awesome tribe, you got to smash that there subscribe, friends. Smash that subscribe, hit the bell, hit the all. This is really important. I just had several comments that people left just within the past hour that they came back to the channel to find out that they're not subscribed anymore. Yeah, it seems to be a notorious thing that happens to my channel very often, and other channels too, but not all channels, which is very, very unfair. I don't know what's with YT and why they're being so unfair to me. So you got to check your subscription. You got to come back. If you don't see me pop up, especially on a Tuesday or Wednesday, if I don't pop up in your notifications, then you got to go back to my channel and check. And why it happens, I know we can assume why it happens. We don't do it because we have no control over what you subscribe to and unsubscribe to. Definitely have no control over that. So be sure to subscribe. Thank you for clicking that like button and passing this information off to others. I will have more information available for you on Tuesday's Teatime Predictions Update. Until then, my beautiful friends, it was nice chatting with you for this short bit of time. Lots more to talk about, so much more to talk about. So I will see you on Tuesday. Until then, remember, friends, be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Let your light shine, baby. Let it shine. Have a beautiful rest of your day, friends. Namaste. Much love.